Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Just want to do a little afternoon show for you guys and gals. Got in here a little bit earlier than expected and got the good news from practice. We'll talk about all that here in a second. I see the chat already filling up. We got Chester Markle in the house. We got Corey Murphy, Mike Berry. Appreciate y'all. Jarrell Lee, Michael in the house as well. Thank y'all for swinging by. So we're going to hit on Lukas Van Ness's return to practice, talk about what the timeline may look like there. We'll also hit on Matthew Golden being back at practice, obviously missing that game there against the Philadelphia Eagles, which really seemed to be, it proved to be pretty crucial for the Packers offense, right? Not having that extra F receiver. We'll talk about that a little bit. And any other injury news that may have came down the pike up to this point. We'll still go live tonight, 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live Chalk Talk. And we're going to be breaking down, if I can get them together, I'm trying, guys, bear with me. But we got 19 plays to break down from the Eagles game. There's some good, there's some bad, and there's a whole lot of learning in that tape, man. It was really, I enjoyed watching that tape. I came out of watching it going, man, there was a lot of plays left on the field. And that gets me excited about the Packers moving forward. Obviously, you want to knock off the defending Super Bowl champions, right? That would have been awesome at Lambeau Field. But seeing how banged up you were, and knowing that the Packers offense struggled the way that it did, and now we've got the back half of the season coming up, which that's been LaFleur and Jordan Love's that's where they've excelled. Now the schedule gets a little bit tough down the stretch. You're going to have a lot of division games. Obviously, it's just going to be a blast, man. I love this time of year, diving into all of the playoff implications, and really every week almost feels like a playoff game. That's what's so much fun about it. So before we get into everything, if you guys would do me a favor, do that YouTube stuff real quick, hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media. We're fans just like you, talking Packers on the daily. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you click subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified every time we do go live here in the future. All right, let's get into it. First things first, Lukas Van Ness back at practice today, and this is exciting, man. And listen, the defense has been playing good. Don't get me wrong. Bill Huber put this tweet out. Nate Hobbs is the only player who has not practiced, and Lukas Van Ness is returning to practice today. Obviously, Elton Jenkins going to IR. That's why he's not mentioned there. But LVN back on the practice field, looking good. There were some other drills we may get to here in just a second. I think Ryan Wood's got a video as well. Listen, the defense is playing good, right? I mean, that's the thing that got swept under the rug on Monday night. And it seems like there is a portion of the fan base that they want to, all right, forget everything good that happened. Let's just focus on the negative, seeing that the Packers lost. And sometimes that happens as well when the Packers win. It's forget about any negative that happened. Let's just focus on the positive because the Packers won. And really the way I like to try to do things is dive into it. Win, lose, or draw. Okay, what was good? What was bad? What do they need to work on? Where were some missed opportunities? Maybe here's 2 or 3 things I don't understand about the offense or defense. So we dig a little deeper and try to get answers for those as well. But, LVN is going to help this defense. I would love for this had been Tucker Kraft, right? I think we all would. Obviously, the offense needs more help than defense at the moment. But I'm also excited about getting Jayden Reed back here real soon. At the end of the show, we'll give you an update on him as well. So there was one clip of Lukas Van Ness, and then we had another one here from Ryan Wood over on X. And this one right here was my favorite. I mean, you can see him kind of dipping down low, putting extra strain and stress on that foot. I love that drill they've got to working under the bar, forcing them to stay low, working on proper technique. You see DeMarcus Covington right there with them, coaching them along. So LVN to me looks good. Now, will he play Sunday? That's the question, right? It's the Giants coming up. And listen, people hear that and they think, okay, easy win. No, there are no easy wins in this league. Hopefully we've learned our lesson by now. And it is funny that the fans that do call in on Packernet After Dark, or the fans that are overly upset on Twitter and all the emotional roller coaster that is the National Football League from week to week. It's funny how those fans are the ones that predict the Packers to just be world beaters, and then when they're not, all of a sudden they're extremely let down. You got to set proper expectations. We're right where I expected them to be. 11-13 wins is where we started the season. Now, when you open up the season, you win the first 2 games. You heard me say, well, I think we're in the 12-14 range now, right? But again, going into the year, looking at everything globally, 11-13 is where we had them. Now, could they fall short of 11? Absolutely, they could. That's definitely a possibility, right? It doesn't mean it's the end of the world either. I'm looking up going, you're missing your receiver, your leading receiver from the last 2 seasons, right? In Jayden Reed. He led the Packers in receiving yards the last 2 years in a regular season. He's been out since week 2. Tucker Kraft, your leading receiver this year, right, at the tight end position. He's out for the rest of the year, okay? You have Matthew Golden miss Monday night. That's your first-round pick, which I'm still amazed that people think that this guy's a bust. It's like when you look into the numbers, and we can look at it over and over and over again, people think he's being underutilized and this and that. Am I the only person that's seen deep shots thrown to Matthew Golden that were this close to connecting, whether he's laying out for a diving catch or somebody makes a play on the ball? On top of that, he's amongst all of our receivers, he's second in targets this year. But somehow Matt LaFleur is being portrayed as he's not utilizing him correctly. That blows my mind. It really does. So anyway, Lukas Van Ness practicing for the first time since injuring his foot on a sack against the Bengals 1 month ago. Good sign for the Packers defense. Now, some people see LVN and they go, is he really that important? I thought he was off to a good start. Let's dive into the numbers. Forget what I think for a minute. Let's see what the numbers say. Okay, let's look at the bread and butter amongst edge defenders. And you guys know that is pressure percentage and sacks, of course. Quarterback pressure percentage for the Packers. You got to eliminate the noise, right? All DBs and stack backers, get them out of the way. Their numbers are always going to be overly inflated. Like you see Evan Williams, 66% pressure rate blitzing. Xavier McKinney, 20%. So now you're getting into the edge defender, right? Micah Parsons, 17.6% pressure rate, okay? Next, you've got Edgerrin Cooper, stack backer. Quay Walker, stack backer. And then next on the list is Lukas Van Ness, and this has really gotten swept under the rug. Lukas Van Ness has a 14% quarterback pressure percentage this year. And you guys know we kind of use the 10% mark as a benchmark. Like if you got 10% or higher, you're considered a good pass rusher, right? If you're under 10% and you're an edge defender and you're not really keying in on a 2-gap scheme or something in between the tackles where you're truly playing the run, which, by the way, he has played 3-tech this year quite a bit. Lukas Van Ness has in that cheetah package. Most of the time, those cheetah packages are passing situations, so there's not as much hesitant, nature to protecting your run gap, or even sometimes if it's a 2-back system, going to a 2-gap approach. But LVN at 14%, he was off to a great start, man. He had 1.5 sacks, and that number's a little low, right? But also you got to keep in mind, they're playing him at 3-tech, and Micah Parsons said it best earlier in the year. I want to prop this dude up. I want to make sure he gets his credit because LVM with that bull rush is what's freeing me up to be able to get to the quarterback more. You guys notice that the pass rush cooled off a little bit whenever LVM went down? And you look at that and go, well, it couldn't be him, Clayton. Look at his numbers. Only got a sack, 1.5 sacks, right? Well, when you break down the tape and you see him playing that 3-tech in the cheetah package, whether you're in the 3-3-5 variety or just your base 4-2-5, he's the guy that's helping steer that. You got Devontae Wyatt on one side in a 3-tech, and then you put him in a 3-tech on the other. And then, of course, you got Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary on the edge. Next thing you know, he's pushing the pocket. And that's the thing that's really, really been missing here lately is the interior push in the pocket into the quarterback, right? That's something LVN does extremely well when we're in those cheetah packages. So I'm excited to get him back. Like I said, I wish it was somebody of his caliber coming back on offense. That would be way, way more beneficial for how the Packers are playing right now. And we got to get our head out of our ass when it comes to the offense, right? We got to get that going. And listen, there's whatever opinion you have, there's someone else on the face of the planet that agrees with you, I promise you, because there's about 12 different opinions on why this offense is struggling. You got former offensive linemen saying, no, the offensive line ain't playing as bad as people act like. It's on Matt LaFleur. You've got people that are saying, no, it ain't on Matt LaFleur, it's on Jordan Love. And then you got people that are looking at Jordan Love going, man, he's not even throwing to open receivers across the middle of the field. It's on him. Everybody's trying to point the finger in the fan base on what they think is actually wrong. If I had to put the majority of the blame somewhere, it's on the offensive line. The running game, you can't seem to get it going at the level in which you want. I also think a little bit of that is scheme, but it's mostly the offensive line not performing well. So now you lose your starting center in Elton Jenkins. You got Sean Ryan coming into play center. I don't expect a huge drop-off based on the snaps that I seen Sean Ryan take at center this last week. I'll be honest with you, man. I was pleasantly surprised with how he played. Now, he wasn't a world beater. I don't expect him to be, right? He's a late round pick or a third round pick, but obviously he's underperformed up to this point, being the last year of his contract. But I'm excited to see what this offense does. And this week is going to be a good test in terms of, can we go out and score points on a bad defense? That's what it's going to come down to, right? Last I checked, I think the New York Giants were 25th in scoring defense. I think they're dead last in rushing defense. If you can't get the running game going this week, boys, you got big problems up front or schematically, right? And again, I think it's a combination of both, more so on the offensive line than the scheme. I'll tell you another one, man. It hurts me to say, but we're going to talk about it on Chalk Talk tonight. Make sure you guys tune in. That Josh Jacobs run on 4th down, people don't want to hear it. It's a good play call. I don't care if they call the play out. Josh Jacobs heard him call the play out on defense and decided, oh, crap, I can't run there. And if he had just ran the play that was called, easy first down. So we'll talk about all that on the show tonight. Let's see here in the chat. Michael says, yes, play action is going to be huge. Once you get the running game going, right, that's going to be absolutely huge. And there's been times that the play action has been there too. Like this last game, there was a couple plays that we show you on Chalk Talk tonight that came off play action out of the ace set as well. Corey Murphy says, me too, it all starts up front. You got to build it in the trenches, man. That's the most depressing part of how you've lost these 3 games by 3 points, right? Has been when we left the playoffs last year against Philly, we truly felt like, okay, we need to build the offensive lineup. There was many people that disagreed with us when we said that, right? And then lo and behold, Goody seemed to agree. 2nd round pick, Anthony Belton. You went out in free agency and got Aaron Banks. Listen, you're taking swings, right? If he missed on Aaron Banks, so be it. People miss, right? I don't think Goody should lose his job for missing on that one free agent. If he's going to lose his job over missing on one free agent, then we should have named a street after him for signing Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs. You can't have it both ways, right? It's not 100% success rate. If it was, the league would be way more predictable and I'd be extremely wealthy putting some money on that, if you know what I mean. So if you missed on those guys, right, and let's say that you missed on Belton in the 2nd round there, right? Guys, it's not the end of the world. You just reset. Many people think that Aaron Banks is here for the long haul and there's nothing you can do about it. We gave him $77 million. Contract structured in a way the Packers can get out this year, right? It was basically, people were saying, I read online earlier, they were saying it's a $77 million deal. No, it ain't. It's a 20. They said he took him for $77 million. No, he took him for $27 million is what he took him for. And the reality is, if you decide to cut bait this year, you free up $4 million in cap space next year, if the numbers are correct that I seen earlier. So you can get out of that one. Nate Hobbs, another problem, right? Nate Hobbs, same thing. You can get out of that contract next year as well, and free up cap space. So those were both signings that it was basically a 1 plus a 3, what we call a 3 club, right? Where it's one true year and the Packers have an out after 1 year, and then you got 3 option years essentially for the club to continue to have them on the team. So will they cut bait with them? Probably not. They'll probably want to keep them around at least 1 more year. But the point there is they cover their bases where they could get out of those contracts if they want to, right? I don't expect them to do that, but it's a possibility. So again, Lukas Van Ness coming back, though, I think is going to be absolutely huge. I'm really excited to get him back on the field. I wish it was an offensive player, but we did get a little bit of good news here on the offensive side of the ball. Rob Domofsky tweeted this out earlier today as well, where he says Matthew Golden with the shoulder is practicing, and Bo Melton's working with the receivers despite still wearing the green defense jersey. Lukas Van Ness going for the first time in a month since his foot injury. Only DMP was Nate Hobbs. So basically the same information we had just a second ago. Here is Matthew Golden after our first look at him, obviously with the injury. He sustained the upper body injury. To me, he looks good. Now, listen, this isn't full contact or anything, but he seems to be ready to go. I know this. If it had been Matthew Golden in the lineup when Bo Melton got that target that he dropped on that crucial, I think it was a 3rd down, might have been a 2nd down, but that's a play we'll talk about on Chalk Talk. If Matthew Golden was on that field, I think that ball game ends up a little bit different. I think the Packers end up scoring a touchdown and you end up winning 13 to 10 is what I think ends up happening. Again, when he's given opportunities, he's got a higher catch percentage than Romeo Doubs. Dude's just, I mean, when he gets the ball in his hand, when they throw the ball his way, Matthew Golden is as good as anybody at catching it. right? Now, contested catches down the field with a smaller body player, that's not his cup of tea, right? You want him to be a speed Z, yes, but you also want him on crossers. His bread and butter in college was that deep comeback route. I haven't seen the Packers bake that in yet. Of course, the defense is going to determine whether you can throw that route or not. But nonetheless, you see our boy Matthew Golden back out there, really excited about that. And then some other news that I thought was really interesting, got me fired up, and it's about Jayden Reed and Marshawn Lloyd. It said also Marshawn Lloyd and Jayden Reed appear to have ramped up their rehab. Both still on IR, so no photo or video allowed, but they were working up a sweat off to the side. Now, we already said Jayden Reed, I think the target is going to be Thanksgiving against the Lions. That's when they're looking to get him back, right? Will he come back before then? Probably not, right? That's probably the earliest opportunity there. But the point I wanted to make about LVN, kind of going back to that, since we're talking about, the risks that are involved when it comes to bringing a player back too early, right? Is with LVN this week against the Giants, if he's not 100%, no. Let's sit him, right? Don't risk bringing him back too early. And I don't know the details of the foot injury and whether or not, I know it took way longer than they expected for it to heal, or else they would have put him on IR. And obviously the roster was in such good shape, according to, the general manager, Matt LaFleur, that you didn't really have to throw him on IR. You could kind of keep him flexible in that regard. But if he is ready to go, and let's say they're saying, "Oh, wait, I can go, coach. I'm about 90%, but I can go." Sit him down anyway, and go out there and try to take care of business against the Giants and let him get healthy. Because listen, people don't want to hear this. If you lose this week, your percentage goes down dramatically, of course, but it still doesn't mean the season's over, guys. We're in week 11. What are we? The fans that are they are absolutely scrambling, freaking out. And it's a very minute amount of the fan base. They're the loud minority. We've done poll questions on this to prove that, because I was starting to think, damn, I think I'm the only one with a positive outlook. Now, I'm finding out from other content creators who will remain nameless. We communicate behind the scenes. They're like, no, they're saying I'm a shield for the organization. They're saying I'm this. They're getting raked over the coals because they're not all doom and gloom. Now, there's one 4-letter network in the Milwaukee area that you want doom and gloom, boy, put it on there. You'll get it 24/7. So, again, Marshawn Lloyd, I'm not as concerned about, to be honest with you. Like, whether he comes back or not makes no difference to me. The way the line's blocking right now, it's not like Marshawn Lloyd's going to come in there and just tear it out of the frame. And his injury history there, I was kind of expecting him to be out for the whole year, just once we got to this point. But it sounds like they are going to ramp him up a little bit, at least give it a go. Jayden Reed's the big one, guys. He's our leading receiver the last 2 years. He's what makes this offense go. It's why I was just completely taken back last year when people were raking him over the coals at the end of the year, as if he forgot how to play football. You get Jayden Reed on the field with Christian Watson, right? Yeah, it would be so great if we had Tucker Kraft with him too, but feels like a lifetime ago since we've seen Tucker Kraft play football. It sucks. But if you get Jayden Reed on the field with Christian Watson, and of course you got Romeo Doubs, you work Matthew Golden back into the fold as well, you're going to be in a lot better shape than you were with the Eagles. If you had those guys on the football field against the Eagles, I'm sorry, you win that ball game. And to me, that's exciting. I know people are frustrated by a comment like that, but I get excited over that stuff. Like, let us see them in the playoffs again. That game on Monday night, guys, was way different than the playoff loss to them. Will we all agree? Like, seriously, which game were you closer to beating them? Which game did you feel like you had Jalen Hurts frustrated? And Nick Sirianni, did you see him on the sideline? Everybody's acting like everything's all hunky-dory on their sideline. They were stressed out all damn night because our defense had them rattled. This defense that the Packers have put together is a championship defense. And I love how people want to all of a sudden make Jeff Hafley the head coach and fire Matt LaFleur. If you do that, you do understand that statistically speaking, the defense is going to dip, right? Historically speaking, if a interim defensive coordinator takes over as the head coach, there's not going to be as much emphasis on the defense that he's going to have as he had in the past, right? So your defense is going to take a dip. And now all of a sudden, the mastermind of your offense, which, by the way, is still top 10 in almost every statistical category, which blows my mind that's just getting swept under the rug. It's just feelings that Matt LaFleur is bad at his job. Yeah, if you were to fire Matt LaFleur and promote Jeff Hafley to your head coaching spot, you're going to see the defense dip, and now you got to find someone else on offense to run your offensive scheme, right? And again, Matt LaFleur is currently sitting 14th all time in winning percentage. I love mentioning that because there's still a portion of the fan base that hate it. Why why someone would be upset that you mentioned that your coach is the 14th winningest coach in the history of the National Football League, a game that's been played for over 100 years now. And they go, well, you take out winning percentage and what has he done? Oh, I don't know. There was actually a matter of fact, I screenshotted it earlier. I was trying to find who did this on Facebook because I wanted to give them credit on social media, but I'll mention it here. For the people that say, what's remove winning percentage and what has Matt LaFleur done? Let me read this off to you real quick. Every quarterback Matt LaFleur's coach had their best years under him, including Rodgers' back-to-back MVP seasons. Matt Ryan is the quarterback's coach for the Atlanta Falcons. LaFleur worked with Ryan during his MVP season in 2016 and that Super Bowl run. Aaron Rodgers, as head coach of the Green Bay Packers, LaFleur coached Rodgers for several seasons, guiding him to 2 consecutive MVP awards. And by the way, 2 NFC championships in that span as well, right? Robert Griffin III, remember, he was supposed to take over the National Football League right before he had his bad injury. During his time with the Washington Redskins, LaFleur was part of the staff that saw Griffin win Rookie of the Year and lead the team to the NFC East title. By the way, working with him, meaning he was his quarterback's coach. He was the guy over the quarterback room, okay? Kirk Cousins. LaFleur also coached Cousins for 2 seasons in Washington. Cousins became the full-time starter in 2015, had a breakout season leading Washington to an NFC East title in 2016. He set a career high with 4,917 passing yards, a 67% completion percentage. Okay. Now, remember Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee? Ryan Tannehill, LaFleur served as the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, where he coached Ryan to some of his best seasons. Jared Goff, I mentioned this on the NFC North Roundtable last night. As the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams, he coached Goff, who had a career turnaround under his guidance. They went muddle huddle there. And that's actually, if you go and listen to the Play Callers podcast done by Jordan Rodriguez, she highlights that really, really well. Jared Goff played really, really well under Matt LaFleur as his offensive coordinator, right? Now we get on to Jordan Love. Only quarterback in NFL history to take the youngest team to the playoffs twice. Think about that. There's people that are down on Jordan Love. The only quarterback in NFL history to take the youngest team to the playoffs twice. That's another accomplishment they've had here. You have to go back-to-back to the 70s to find quarterbacks who have done that only once. All right. Only quarterback in NFL history to make the NFL youngest team to the playoffs and win a game. That's another one. Jordan Love's first 3 years as a starter is equal or better statistically than Aaron Rodgers' first 3 years. True story. The haters will say different era, different era. Okay. Keep making excuses. Matt LaFleur has the best winning percentage coaching record of any coach in the NFL the last 7 years. So when you break it down over the last 7 years, that predates Sirianni, he's got the best winning percentage. Okay. Nick Sirianni has a higher winning percentage than Matt LaFleur currently. So with that being said, is Matt LaFleur perfect? Absolutely not. Is Jordan Love perfect? Far from it. Both of them are. There's plenty of room to grow for everybody. But at the end of the day, you got to look at the schedule. When you're going into this season, you look at the schedule. This is how I approach it. I'm not telling anybody else to do it. This is the way my mind fires. Going into the season, you go, okay, how does our roster construct? Okay, you got the youngest roster in the league. That's a negative mark. It's going to be hard to win like that, but you got the right guys, you can do it, right? Okay. What's the schedule look like? All right, I see 11 to 13 wins, barring any crazy injuries. Here's what's crazy. If you had told me when I made that prediction, if you had said, Clayton, you're going to lose Tucker Kraft for the year, Matthew Golden's going to miss significant time, Christian Watson's not going to come back until week, whatever it was, right? And you listed off all these players that have been banged up on offense. If you're going to lose your starting center in Elton Jenkins, right? If you told me all that, I would have said, damn, you're probably in the 9-win range if all that happens. Jayden Reed especially. Jayden Reed is huge, right? Losing Jayden Reed is absolutely huge. So put me in the 9-win range, right? And here I am sitting on November 13th going, even with losing those 3 tough games by a total of 9 points, it just blows my mind. You're still looking up and going, looking at the schedule. Yeah, if they beat the teams they should, if they sneak 1 or 2 out and drop one to a team that they should lose, or they should win rather, you're still going to finish with 11 wins. You win 11 games and you're into the playoffs, right? And again, I know everybody wants them to win every single game every week. I do too. But it's not going to happen, gang. It's just not going to happen. And all I ask is have us in the game to win that ball game. And we're going to talk about it on the Chalk Talk tonight, 6 p.m. Central. The biggest play in that game the other day, was Jordan Love's fumble, where he was just trying to do too much. And what's crazy about that is if he gets that little shovel pass off where he's trying to shovel it to Josh Jacobs, and Josh Jacobs got about 15 yards in front of him before the first defender, we're sitting here today going, how about that Brett Favre-like play by Jordan Love where he just – defenders draped over him. He somehow shovels it to the running back, and the running back picks up the first down. We're sitting here talking about that after beating the defending Super Bowl champions, and all these people that are calling in negative, all these people that are pounding up, yeah, all that. Shout out Corey in Iowa. God love his little heart. He sounds like a 3-year-old about to wet himself every time he calls in. Those guys will be positive or they wouldn't even call in. I have noticed that. When things are going good, there's a certain portion of the fan base just seem to disappear, which leads you to question, are they really fans or are they just trolls? The only time we hear from you is when things go bad. You might want to check your fan card. You're probably just an overly emotional. I'm going to watch my words here. Yeah, you're probably just overly emotional. Let's keep it nice there. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think about the LVN injury, his rehab. Let us know about Matthew Golden. Let us know about everything that's going on with this offense. We want to hear from you in the comments. All comments are welcome. Just keep it respectful, right? Don't be like before said name, aforementioned, where they just want to pout up and complain when things go wrong rather than talk about what's actually happening on the field. It's just amazing. You hear somebody rattle off 7 or 8 different points, and you can literally debunk all 7 of those points one by one by one by one. It's just absolutely wild that we got to that point. So, again, Giants coming up this week. Chalk Talk tonight. Then we dive into the game plan. We'll have you the injury update before we do Chalk Talk tonight and see what everybody's injury status actually is. So, appreciate everybody. Thank you all for the kind words in the chat. Thanks to everybody who's reaching out on the text line, email, all that stuff. Everybody in the Patreon group. Appreciate y'all. Cannonball John, shoot me a message, buddy. You won the autographed Lukas Van Ness rookie card. We'll get that mailed out to you as well. Thank y'all so much for all the support. We'll see y'all tonight, 6 p.m. Central. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go, Pat, go.
Here we go. We out.
Bye, guys.